hold me back because tonight we have the other R. Kelly in-house, Jimel Atkins, who plays Saren's shady stepfather. You don't want to miss the David Makes Man Aftershow right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Happy Hump Day, everybody. It is your favorite after show on AfterBuzz Dramas, the David Makes Man Aftershow, and I am your host, Sahai Wilson. Tonight, we have a special guest, but first, let me introduce you to my lovely panel. To my left, we have Josh.
Yo, what's good?
Josh gives us our male perspective. He's a dad, he's a preacher's kid, and he tells us everything that we need to know about what it's like from the male perspective. What's up, Josh?
What's happening?
How you doing?
Chilling.
Good. We also have the lovely Zakia. Zakia is a publicist, a brand manager, but she also takes care of our guest booking and our news and gossip segment. What's up, Zakia?
Nothing. How are you guys?
Good. And we have a special guest. We all love to hate him, but we're going to be nice tonight.
Are we?
We may be.
Okay.
He is a former wide receiver. He's a Floridian and a Jamaican. Please welcome Mr. Jimel Atkins.
Yo, what's good?
Thank you. This is going to be fun.
Jamel said it's going to be the best after show ever.
That's what he said.
Y'all gonna have some sound bites after
All
this
right. Speaking into existence.
Like that.
I like that. Yeah. And again, I am your host, Sahai Wilson. I'm a producer with over 10 years of experience. I'm an East Coast girl, and I was raised by a single mom, so I know a little thing about David's life. But first, let's get into some overall thoughts. What were your overall thoughts? Zakia, I'll start with you.
Okay, so I definitely had mixed emotions. I was high, I was low, not literally high. But I definitely had mixed emotions, and I was so proud of Glow from the last time. I guess I was wrong.
You threw her under the bus last week.
Mm-hmm. Okay. To my defense, it wasn't like a bad prediction.
Right.
But I'm so proud of her, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because yeah,
she did good. She did. Jimel, what were your overall thoughts?
It's getting better and better.
Okay.
Every episode, it seems like we're able to tap into a different part of a person's story, and it's being told so eloquently, throughout each episode. But, Gloria's over here having to make some tough decisions. You got people selling some shoes and doing some things, just trying to get that rent paid. So I'm definitely, just thrilled with how well every episode just keeps building on top of each other.
And for our audience, just so you know, Jimel doesn't get to see the episodes like before they air. He sees it when we see it. So his reactions, are just as fresh as ours. Josh, what were your overall thoughts?
Well, for me, I kind of like that Gloria took the leadership role as far as making sure that Day and JG respected her. And that seems like something that was not being done earlier in the season. But it also reflects on the aces that have taken over with Day and JG. And I'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay. I love this episode. We had some surprises. Glow surprised me. She really did, becoming a whole drug dealer.
Listen.
Okay. I was like, oh, is that what we doing now? But, it just speaks to the things that we do. And I want you guys to also stay tuned. We have some news and gossip later. We also have some predictions. So definitely stay tuned. So let's get into a little bit about the episode, and we'll talk to Jimel more. Let's talk about the things we do when the rent is due. We saw poor little JG. He done sold his shoes. Okay, first of all, those shoes were a little too big for him anyway. Did y'all notice?
I don't know. LeBron's fit like that.
Were those really LeBrons?
Yeah, they are.
Heavy.
They're chunky and just like LeBron.
Were they real LeBrons?
Yeah, those are real LeBrons.
Oh, see,
yeah.
Shade.
No, he's not. LeBron's got big feet, bro.
I'm a fan of LeBron, so no LeBron hate
It was a joke.
Oh gosh.
I want to go to the games this year.
I'm gonna take heat for that.
I want to go to the games this year. I ain't
Yeah.
saying
Take me too.
Now, how long have you lived in LA?
I think I moved here in April.
Okay, so you're brand spanking new.
Yeah, we got to get him used to the city.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What are you're from Florida? Well, so tell us like kind of all the places you've lived.
I was born in Jamaica, and then I moved to...
We're in Jamaica for all our
Ocho
Jamaicans.
Rios.
Okay, thank you.
Ocho Rios,
Thank you.
Jamaica.
Thank you. Thank you.
St. Anne's Bay, to be exact.
Okay.
So
And
y'all
if
know
you
it's real.
notice, it wasn't planned, but the Jamaican flag colors are up on this panel here. I've got
Yes,
the
it
gold, Josh got the green, you got the black. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Lived in Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts, to 413.
Where I found out the NBA Basketball Hall of Fame
That's
is.
the only thing that it's probably known for.
Have you been?
Oh.
Yes, a few times.
Okay,
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Every weekend. We're going to go again.
The only thing.
They got a casino up there now, but then I spent some time in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Spent some time in Pennsylvania. Then back to Tampa, and now here.
Okay.
A little bit of a journey, man. You know?
Yeah, and then you guys shot the show in Orlando. So were you already in Florida when you?
Yeah. Everybody, it's one of those things. It's kind of weird to be moving to LA with a little bit of momentum, you can say, because usually people come here to be able to go somewhere else to go shoot something.
Right.
So yeah, we did that in Orlando from July of 2018 all the way to December. So, and then I decided to make the jump. In April.
Wow. One of the things I want to ask you about is like the casting process for you to get that role, because you're fairly new to the acting world, right?
Yeah. It's weird now that I'm in LA and I see how long people have been doing it. It kind of feels weird to even say that I've only been doing it for 2 years.
And that you're already on a show with Oprah Winfrey and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
a little humble brag there. Okay, gotcha.
No, very humble. He went from Netflix to Oprah.
It's been kind of quick, but it kind of felt like it was taking a long time. I did Mindhunter. I was in a small scene right before then, like 2 weeks before.
Wow.
And then we did the audition. I did my callback with the writer, Terrell Alvin McCraney, who's an absolute genius. And it just kind of hit the ground running after that.
Okay. Look at God. Look at God. You know who else need God? Miss Glow. Because she's struggling though. You got the eviction notice on the door. Young JG done sold the shoes. She can't get her social security card. Her birth certificate ain't right, and she's trying everything to make things work. How did it make you guys feel to see her still in this predicament for another week?
I was proud of her for at least going after everything she needed to do. I mean, it's hard. Like anything DMV, Social Security, they make it super, super difficult. So I felt like the struggle was like a known struggle. I mean, I don't even know where my Social Security card is. I really don't. So, but it's hard. I think, like I said before with JG, that whole man thing got to his head. It seriously has got to his head. But hopefully we see some good out of him. As we saw, he's all heart. Like Glow said, with selling his sneakers and trying to pay the rent. He did it wrong, but it was a sweet gesture.
Yeah, and I think that's the way you learn. You learn from the mistakes. And it was nice to see him take initiative. I guess that little prayer when she done buried the toys worked on him a little too well.
Let me ask a question here. What was wrong about him selling his shoes?
I didn't find anything wrong with him selling the shoes.
I did. He's a little boy. That's not something you should worry about. Like, stay in the child's place. That wasn't for you. But I get it. Like I said, it was a nice gesture.
You know what it is?
I think it's contingent on the lifestyle you're living.
Yeah, because for me, growing up with just my mom and my brother, I didn't sell anything. But you just knew, even if it's just not causing trouble, you're constantly aware of not doing things to cause your parent, especially your mom, more struggle or pain. So I think I didn't find anything wrong. He didn't need those damn shoes.
He didn't need them, but
he could have worn the Bobos that Dave had.
I think it's just sad because children should be able to be happy about something. Like, he shouldn't have to take on those responsibilities. But I get it. Like I said, it was definitely a great gesture for him to do it.
It's sad that he had to do it.
It's sad that he has to do it.
Okay, so you feel like he shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah, that's
and I feel like he shouldn't have, but
you
know.
What about you, Jimel? What do you think?
I actually really relate to this part of the story. Glow having to do everything that she has to do reminded me of what my grandmother used to have to do when we were in Jamaica. My grandmother grew up sewing. And she'd sew all night. Just
my
to
mom
try
sewed too.
Oh, okay, there you go. So I think it's like a Jamaican thing that everybody knows how to sew in the family. But yeah, I definitely related to the fact that Glow was over here almost having to sell, or actually did sell drugs to get the rent paid, because it reminds me of when my grandmother was telling people that she would have 3-4 dresses done by Sunday, and Sunday comes and she doesn't have the dresses ready, and she's trying to pay the rent and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just kind of like the struggle. Like I don't think that people understand that things are just sometimes harder just when you're Black.
Yeah.
You know?
That's part of it. Oh, go ahead, Sai.
You go.
No, I'm saying
because he was absent last week. Aren't we happy to have Josh back, guys?
That's part of it. I wanted to lean on that with the ACEs. So I'm not sure if all of you are aware, but back between 95 and 97, the CDC and Kaiser Permanente did a study, a psychological study. It's called the ACEs, the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study.
Okay.
And what they concluded was that there are 4 main factors for children in certain situations who come out. Household dysfunction, like a mother who's being beaten by a father, incarceration of a parent, mental or emotional abuse, physical, emotional neglect. So when I see something like what Gloria's doing, Gloria's in a situation where she's trying to provide the emotional support to her son so they don't reflect what the ACEs are, but then we find out earlier that she's part of an abusive relationship because she was being sexually abused by her professor. So it's almost to a point where JG is put in a position where, since he's a product of the ACEs, the adverse childhood experiences, he's forced into situations at a young age to sell shoes or to sell his clothes or to play basketball for, $10, whatever it is, in order to help his mother pay the rent.
And what is the word you're saying? ACEs?
ACEs, yeah. So the acronym is ACE in a lowercase s.
Okay, so like a card, like the playing card, like an ace.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Come
Got
on,
it. Got it.
Professor.
Okay, all right.
This is over here.
Okay.
This is a fact.
Yeah. And you know what else I want you to drop some knowledge on? Why we love these AfterBuzz shows?
Well, I'm going to tell you why. We love the AfterBuzz shows. First off, we love them because our fans love them. We thank you all so much for tuning in every single week. If you are on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, iTunes, just make sure you're commenting, make sure you're leaving us 5 stars. We would not be able to do the things that we're doing here without you fans. We have Jimel here, we've had Lucian here, we've had Travis Coles, we've had Isaiah. We want to make sure that we're here for you all. So continue to subscribe and support us, and we'll do the same for you to support you all.
Thank you. That was great. And then also thank you to the people that have commented each week. Last week we had Akaziaj, who said, excellent recap, keep shining. And Tech Romage, who commented, a lot last week and the week before. So thank you. We appreciate your comments and your support. Jimel, I wanted to talk about, kind of like how Miss Glow had to make a difficult decision. You played football in college, but then you decided to pursue acting. Was that a difficult decision for you, and why did you make that decision?
At the time that I made the decision, it seemed rather simple, but there's a psychology that, and there's a California Fair to Play Act right now that's actually kind of tying into this segment, actually. At the time, it wasn't necessarily difficult to make the decision, but the stress and the potential of disappointment and what this says about you as an athlete, or what that means for you as your rep on college, is what makes it hard to make the decision. Because to be honest with you, college, especially football, is very political. College football is extremely political. When people have full scholarships and they're out there dropping touchdowns and coaches just give them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chances, sometimes it's not necessarily the best 22 guys on the field.
So there's favoritism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then you see a lot of people squander the opportunities that they're given. But at the time, it was very, very easy. That was what I was more concerned about at the time, was like, what does this mean about me to no longer be an athlete, and no longer to have that attention from women and have that attention from my peers? That's what it was. That was the hardest part.
Okay, and then how did football prepare you for acting? Because there's like a discipline that you have to have as an athlete and a discipline that you have to have as a aspiring actor. So how did it prepare you?
In that retrospect, I definitely credit my sports. I mean, it's been baseball, basketball, football obviously took me the farthest in terms of collegiate, but it's pretty much the same type of work ethic. I think that the benefit of being a college athlete is you see how far you have no choice but to push yourself.
Yeah.
And then if you maintain any of that resilience from when you were, playing, and then you apply it to any type of craft after, you just kind of understand that you just genuinely have to work harder than everybody else.
Because if you guys head over to Jimel's Instagram, you see he got some deep thoughts going on. Like one of your quotes, if you go to his IMDb, it says, "You are forever entitled to the labor, but never the fruits."
Yes.
I was like, okay, you're getting deep, Jimel.
Yeah.
We appreciate that here.
Absolutely.
So similar to you, we have two young men in this show that are, struggling with different sides of their personality, David and Rainin. Now, y'all know Rainin has a special place in my heart, even though he's a bad boy. But we saw him did we think this was a flashback in this nice house with his mama in the nursing uniform? Was this a flashback of who he was prior to his daddy dying?
I don't know. Can we talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
Come on, Zakiya, because I'm ready for this one.
Rainin is loaded. He's loaded. And for him, that one episode to say, "Oh, this how we live in JG?" When he went to his grandfather's house.
Oh, right.
Right. And
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Exactly.
Because he knew he was like, okay, I spot these people have more, but the same that a little bit like what I have, I guess.
No, he just playing a game.
But also remember when I noticed how he switched up the way he was speaking to the grandfather, like he suddenly became very proper.
Right.
I think that
because he knows something.
But I feel like he's still loaded. He's still loaded though. He's still living in that house.
And when you say loaded, not on like high loaded.
Oh no.
Nah,
financially loaded.
Financially, like he still has money.
Yeah.
I feel like he's always had money. He's actually playing two faces like David is. David has these 3 personalities that he has to toggle between, and Rainin is doing the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a little of me want to believe that Rainin, for some odd reason, wants to be in the position that Day is in, just to prove his street cred.
Yeah.
Right. So
because you're really not. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, Zakiya. My bad.
I was just going to say, you're really not hood, Rainin. We see through you. You're not hood anymore. I can't even take you serious.
I've been there before now. Because, y'all know how I grew up. Okay, I grew up a little bit of cash on me now. But I had friends. I'm serious, I did. But I had friends who were like, I referenced Nunu. From
ATL.
Yeah, from ATL. Because she was balling.
Yeah, she really
was. But she was Nunu in the hood.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw Rainin, he's wearing a Ralph Lauren shirt. And he's not wearing the ones at TJ Maxx. He's wearing the ones that you get from Bloomingdale's.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
He's got the piping around the collar.
Purple label.
Yeah, like, come on, bruh. And then he has to put his grill in. So when I'm looking at him, my brother used to say that real goons know real goons. And at some point, the guys he's around are going to bring someone around that could possibly compromise him. Because when you're not a real goon, you haven't pulled the trigger, you haven't stabbed somebody, you haven't done anything that would classify you as a real goon. So he's being dangerous.
I think, I think from the point where we saw what I think is a flashback of Rainin in this house with his mom in this beautiful house to the Rainin that we see now, he has changed. Things have gotten a little bit harder. He's experienced a little bit more griminess. He got arrested. Yeah. The car's messed up. You saw he can't even afford to get the car painted properly. So I think he has, because he wants to make people believe this is who he has forced himself in these situations.
So did his mom put him out?
Maybe. I mean, remember he's not from the Ville, but he goes there. So, but maybe I don't know. But maybe he living with the uncle, the drug dealer uncle.
I mean, he could be, but at some point, I'll say Negroes start asking questions.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Who are your people? How did you get in this area?
Right. Because if you're from this hood or you from the hood, I should know something about you that dates further beyond a year ago.
Right.
And you know what?
Right.
That leads me to we have Ray here, and we know that Ray is one of the most polarizing characters on the show. And we watch him put young Saren in these situations every week. So let's take a moment to really get into your character, Jimel.
All right, let's hit it.
Talk to me. So
dirty.
Okay.
I couldn't help it. I got to tell him.
I mean,
Ray is a dirty dog.
Okay. I was like, should I be mean? But I have to remember this is just a character. What has the response been to your character, Ray?
Nothing positive.
Okay.
That's good acting.
Thanks. Thank you. Oprah had a similar greeting when she met me about that too. But it's the reception on Twitter has been strong in terms of I try to go on there discreetly and just read. Nobody likes me. Okay. You know? Nobody likes Ray, I should say.
Right, of course.
But I absolutely love that. You know,
Right.
I think that's very important.
But for this to be one of your first roles and you playing such a character that people are, you know, going to hate, how did you prepare for that? How did you prepare for this role?
You know, I had a feeling you were going to ask me this question. Very good question. Very good question. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is, to be honest, I really just didn't feel some type of way about playing him. And the reason why is because I try to stay as true to the craft as I can. And part of the thing that they teach you, or any good school will teach you, is to not judge the character. Interesting. So especially after I talked to Terrell about Ray, we had a quick conversation about it. And I was getting a little heady about the process. So I was thinking, is he like this? Is he? And he just said something very, very simple. And it was along the lines of, you know, people that abuse people oftentimes think that they're doing the right thing.
Interesting. So explain that to us. So what does Ray think is going on?
Well, Ray is, when I was doing the backstory of Ray, I kind of built it out as a man that had been wronged himself.
Wronged meaning also sexually abused?
Or just abused in general.
Okay.
I know that this is, my transparency, I feel like, is the greatest strength. But in my upbringing, you know, I grew up with my stepfather, and I wouldn't say that he was necessarily abusive, but, you know, parents are rough sometimes.
Yeah.
And you realize that they're rough based on what they've been through.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about it from playing a stepfather who doesn't share this blood lineage with Saren, it has to be because of the fact that I believe in these moments that, you know, it's better that he gets it from somebody who thinks or believes that he loves the kid versus experience it from somebody who has it out for the kid.
And when you say gets it, meaning the beatings?
I can't tell you all that.
Oh, see, because we really don't know who
manipulating him.
I can't tell you.
We know he's sexually abusing Saren, right?
Yeah.
We can confirm that Ray is sexually abusing Saren.
You can think that.
Oh, see,
he can't release
anything. See what he doing
That's
here?
right.
Okay.
That's good. That's good acting.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
We don't know what's going on in the Kelly household.
Okay.
We don't though.
We
I
really
don't know. We
don't.
know Mama.
Someone's getting
all that
beating him
kissing and
someone's
stuff.
abusing him.
Yeah, all that fake kissing and stuff. And what'd you go to Atlanta for? What was going on in Atlanta?
Oh yeah, you
nothing.
were in
I had
Atlanta.
a little, you know what I'm saying? I had a little workshop.
What you do there?
Yeah, exactly. What happened? Workshop
Was it Labor
who?
Day weekend?
It was Labor Day weekend. I was off.
See, I don't appreciate that. But
no. I mean, in terms of just like when you really divulge into it for Ray, he's just a guy that genuinely believes that it's best that the kid that's coming from a place of love. And when I viewed it from that, like, even though the love is twisted and it's probably not the correct way to being, you really only act that way if you're one of two things. If you're, you know, really messed up in the head,
Yes, true.
or you actually believe that your intentions are going to lead that kid away from the thing that you experience. But what ends up happening is the kid just ends up going through the same thing, or maybe doing the same thing down the line to his kids. So.
Okay, well, let us know what y'all think in the live chat,
that's
because
part
I just
of it.
need.
You already look like you're older
I'm trying to process it. I'm processing it because
He's articulating that character accurately, though. Because
I just needed a little bit of background from your perspective, because, you know, oftentimes we see people who are abusive, either physically or sexually, and we say monster. But to hear you say, okay, this is actually coming from a place of compassion, and this is actually like the way he shows love, it's very interesting. It's just taking me a minute to process.
Yeah. Well, could it be tantamount to how sometimes we talk about how women are in physically abusive relationships with men who they feel love them, and the women I can't remember the term, but the women they feel trapped in love. So he goes to jail. He comes back and she's like, I love him. He's my man. And he beats her again and he goes back to jail. I think it seems like it's something like that.
That sounds toxic.
But it's like they're trapped. They feel like the way that he expresses love is through physical abuse.
Some people, yeah.
Because
that's what I mean.
If you do notice, Ray knows exactly what's going on at all times with Saren.
Right,
So
he's a helicopter parent.
It's out of obviously some form of control, but you know, it's amazing that you have parents who don't abuse their children that can't show that level of support. You know, and then you have people that are probably not the best influence for the kid, but are there every step of the way. So it kind of shows that there has to be some cross between between them feeling like this is the love that I'm supposed to be showing, this is the love that I didn't get, even if he's like, even if he's dealing with
if y'all could see the side eye I was giving him right now. I know, but let's,
this is deep therapy.
It is. And speaking of therapy, we saw young David go back to see the therapist, which I was proud to see him request more therapy. But do we think it's because he really wanted it, or was it solely to steal the prescription pad?
He definitely had a motive. At first, as you were saying, I was proud too. I'm like, yay, he wants to go back to therapy. He really needs it. He was very convincing, but he had a motive at the end of the day because he wasn't even listening.
Yeah. And talking about get me some more food.
Yeah.
So you just see this manipulative side of David. And
I don't know.
You thought it was, what'd you think?
I think y'all hating.
What?
You thought David's intentions were pure and he just happened to steal the prescription pad?
No, I think he wants help. But I think that he wants to help himself as he's getting help.
I think it's twofold. Yes,
Yeah, so
I think he does need somebody to talk to, because the way he said it to Miss Glow, like, you told me to not like keep all this pressure built up inside.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. But
he sees it's cathartic.
Yeah, I think he also it was a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Well,
and are you sizing up David? Is Ray sizing up David for the kill? For some type of incident.
Ray's just kind of smooth with it. I mean, he has a few moments obviously that can go either way, but I can't. You know what I'm saying? I want to tell you.
Okay,
I
fine.
I want to tell you.
So,
You'll be in some
but
trouble.
in terms of that, I definitely think that this is why David Makes Man is such a powerful story.
Yeah.
Because regardless of you maybe have never had to steal prescription pads off of a desk, but you understand the motivation is because he's doing that because with the way that he's lining up, he's going to go give that to Rainin with the way that that's ending. That's at least what I think. Okay. So there's a reason why. And the reason why is because it's linked to Glow and him wanting to support Glow.
Yeah.
So if you see that psychology, and it's another example of an African American trying to figure out how to survive in a climate that's not made for him.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I think is beautiful about that, is because even if you're not African American, you definitely relate to having to try your best to try to survive.
That's true.
Everybody's struggle is different.
Exactly.
Miss Glow is a mama on the show, but you got to meet Mama O. What is that like, meeting Oprah? Can you just tell us what that feels like?
She's just as graceful and as magical, and probably walks on water in her spare time as you would think. I mean, the thing that I realize about real legends and icons is when they walk into the room, no matter who it is, everything stops.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely silent. But what I'm really impressed with about Miss O is, one, she has 1,000 things going on, and she knows everybody's name.
Wow.
That's awesome.
She knows everything that's going on with the show. When it's time to do an interview, she knows all the questions. She has them lined up. She has a certain way of being, and that's the type of stuff that was really, really nice to see.
That's great.
Wow. One of the questions also is that here it is. This is early on in your career. You're working with Oscar winners. You're working with like Michael B. Jordan. You're working with Oprah, like legends already. How does that feel to be amongst such powerful people at this point?
It feels like I belong. And the reason why I say that is because I hope that I belong. The reason why I say that is because I do try to put as much effort and time into this as possible. I often tell people this, but it's a true story. I really spent 2 years. I did everything. Do you know the guy named Gary Vee?
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk?
He's
Yes,
intense.
When he's
the
talking
motivational guy.
about living in the dirt.
I don't know that particular.
But he was basically just talking about having to make the sacrifices in order for you to do things that you want.
Okay.
So when
with the dark hair.
Right.
I was going through I know you're talking about.
And he's always talking about those things. So when I was thinking about my time in Tampa, when I really lived with my mother and I was really, only working just enough for me to pay for my auditions and really spending time, studying these books when everybody else was having a good time. And I'm like, you guys are wasting time. You know what I'm saying? These moments are precious. So this is what I would hope would happen from doing that type of stuff. So it definitely feels like when I'm standing in front of them, obviously I know that they are on a different echelon. But it's very inspiring, and it's like, okay, you're making the right type of steps in order to be in these type of people's
So you
presence.
were prepared for the opportunity when it arose, and therefore now you're able to succeed. Congratulations.
What it seems like for me is something you said. Like you said, you keep saying only 2 years. But I think that there's an adage where it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert.
Right.
So some people's 10,000 hours may be 10 years.
Right.
Yours were 2.
Right. Well,
Are you leaning to that?
Yeah,
so that's why. So I have to give credit to the fact that it did take you 2 years, but that doesn't mean you worked any less hard than anybody else.
Yeah,
he
I think
just
I
used
said
his time in a different way.
I think
nice.
I think that it's just about I would come home from acting class. A lot of people would just go to acting class, and I'd come home and there'd be an after party, or there'd be something like we'd have a showcase where we'd have casting directors come through, because that's what they do in Tampa. You have casting directors come through.
Oh, so those are real when you hear them on the radio?
No, not those. No.
He's talking about the private one.
Do not go to these workshops that promise that you can be an actor in 2 days.
$800 to enter.
No, it's crazy. But I would come home and I'd spend another 5-6 hours, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to read, just trying to get to a different point. So I definitely lean on what you're saying. So
that's amazing.
There's some truth to that.
Now you're a very serious guy. You're focused. But what makes you when do you have fun? What do you do for fun?
I am actually a nerd on the other side of my personality.
Okay.
I love to go. I found this new place that I like to go to live music. I like to dance a little bit. I have to get more in dancing, because dance culture. I don't know if y'all remember when dance was not cool for a good when out of that high school maybe because
for us our dancing was
well I think maybe it's an East Coast thing, because on the East Coast dancing you post up in the corner. You don't remember that?
So if the girls were dancing, you had to stay on the wall. We call it holding up the wall.
Yeah, holding up the wall, just pretend like you don't want to dance, knowing damn well you want to dance.
Yeah, you want to move. Yeah,
exactly.
But then snap dancing came out. We was cool with that.
Yeah,
that was down south.
I was gonna say, what's the
But
snap?
up north it was kind of like this thing of where we danced, and then I moved down to Florida, and then nobody danced, and I'm over here dancing, trying to be like an amateur Chris Brown.
You was dancing hard.
I was dancing real hard,
sweating
a little too hard. But I do try to get out. I love to hike. I'm definitely trying to. I try to stay out of the clubs just so I don't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. You gonna get in trouble in the club?
I just, liquor does something to personality.
Oh, okay. They call it the truth serum.
Mm-hmm. But I just try to do things that are fun but keep me connected.
Yeah, so, still with your eyes on the prize.
Video games, 2K. Anybody that want it can get it. It's on PlayStation 4.
Wait a minute.
I don't know nothing about that.
Neither do I.
But I'm just saying I try to keep to myself, but I definitely try to get out and keep active.
And then, so you've played this character. What other types of roles would you like to play?
I honestly want to play the most messed up people that there is.
So you're not I want to play as an action hero.
I do want to do that.
Okay.
But I definitely, my favorite actor is Leonardo DiCaprio, hands down. I think he's the greatest actor of our generation.
Okay, I saw him in the nail salon one time. Very nice
did?
guy. Yeah, he gave a good tip.
Cool. Yeah, he's him. Tom Hardy is another one.
Tom Hardy is the business, bro.
I'm like,
that's my dude.
Damn,
son.
can I get half as good as him?
I'm telling you, bro.
Can.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
We believe in you here on the David Makes Man Aftershow.
He taps into that psychology, boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm sorry. What did you just say before that?
So basically, what other types of roles did you want to play?
Oh yeah. So I just really, when I'm looking at those type of careers and I'm looking at the range of characters that they played, I really hope that I get more. I don't want to necessarily play another Ray.
I understand.
But
we understand.
I've done this once. I think it's good.
But
I definitely want to play characters that impact and make people look at things differently.
And start conversations.
Okay,
I appreciate that. Kind of wrapping up the episode, one of the other conversations is just that Glo sold the drugs that Rainin gave her to pay for her rent that JG tried to pay, but then somebody done stole the money. But she also, because she was triggered, Zakiya, last week you said you thought she was already using the drugs, but she wasn't. We also saw her go to a therapy of sort, and she went to a meeting. But then she sold the drugs to the woman.
So did she go to the meeting to sell the drugs?
I mean, I think just like David, she needed a little bit of both.
It was two for one.
Yeah, she needed to talk out her issues. Obviously, her mama wasn't there for her, but then she was like, you know what? Let me get a little hustle on here.
She did that so smooth, and it's so bad. Maybe I've been watching too many gangster movies, but I was super proud of her
for not using the drugs, especially,
or just
thinking of that idea.
Hold on. She sold it to somebody who's rehabilitating.
I know,
but just to take the edge off that one time.
Okay, I've been watching to my defense, I've been watching a lot of movies with drug dealers.
Okay.
So, but
She's like, "Are you struggling? I got something for
got
you."
you. I'm saying like,
But
I got
also, what I
something
thought
for
was interesting was how here it is. She was about to tell David, "Don't be selling no drugs in my house," and then here it is. She goes and do the same thing. So it's like, do as I say, not as I do. But
yeah, but that could be a one-off.
Right.
That could have been one of those.
She ain't have more drugs.
I've been there before because I'm a musician, and I've been, I was playing in the church, and then I went to one of those a couple of churches that were like, if I catch you in the juke joint, you're not playing for me.
Oh.
And I needed to pay a couple of bills, so I rolled up in the jazz club and I hopped on the drums, made a quick $1,000.
I thought you were gonna say you.
No, but I'm saying like no, but
everybody
the
ain't on drugs, Akia.
No. But the point I'm making is sometimes you have to do that one off to try to get you over. And I never had to. I mean, I play in the clubs now, but at that time, I was not supposed to be playing in the club.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that wraps up our episode. Let's get into some news and gossip.
Okay, guys. So we have our guest with us, and I want to play a game. So the game is called Explain Yourself.
Okay.
So we have some pictures, and I need you to explain what was going on, your thoughts, where were you in the moment for this picture right here.
And describe what's going on in the picture.
What's going on?
This is me and Auntie O at the David Makes Man premiere.
Okay.
I think it was at I forget exactly what the name of it was, but it looks like we're married. We're happily married.
Yeah,
in the
right.
picture.
Real close to Auntie
Definitely
O.
happily married.
we take these very heartwarming pictures.
Yes,
together.
Stedman. I'm sure Stedman looking at you with the side eye.
I am not trying to mess with that. I promise.
Okay.
But no, what was going in my mind was actually I was holding some food and I'm like, let me just try to hide the fact that I got food in my
in one hand.
in my
What were you
other
eating?
hand. It was, I don't know, but Owen put out a spread.
Okay.
They had some mac and cheese out there. And I was like, oh, so
You ripped through it.
I said, oh, somebody black man. I was like, okay.
This is a cookout.
She brought somebody from Macon to make
Okay.
that.
And what's the
Exactly.
next picture?
Okay. Explain yourself.
Thirst trap.
What's going on?
We coming for Lucian.
I'm trying. You stole my punchline. I was just about to mention him. I'm trying to prepare for another role
Are you?
that I cannot talk about.
So it looks like you're in the gym.
Yes. I
I'm
try to go
nosy.
to the
I'm
gym.
the type of girl. Okay, so
I go to
Zoomed in.
Gold's. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can find me at Gold's. I'm just trying to, just cut, just trying to maintain my size, be ready for the next project. Hopefully an action hero. Who knows?
When you played football, were you bigger or smaller?
I'm bigger now than I ever was.
Yeah, because you were wide receiver.
Yeah, I was like
you're not-
190 pounds. I think in that picture I was like 220.
Yeah, like
210.
You know, wide receiver running that route.
Uh-huh.
220.
I gotta play tight end these days.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is what I got from this. Are you sure that's not a picture? Oh, going back to the picture. You sure that's not like when you just work out and you thought you lost a little bit of weight or you gained some muscle and you look at yourself? Because I do that.
No. This was me admiring the work. This was me like in post,
okay.
like being proud of the fact that
The
we got
diet,
a good,
the
You know what
workout.
I'm saying? I'm like,
Okay.
oh, this is coming together.
Okay.
It's also a thirst trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also a thirst trap.
Definitely.
Jimel Atkins on Instagram.
Okay.
Next picture.
Next one. So this is a tweet. So I need some explanation. So you said, I take pride in knowing that there isn't anyone that can ever say I effed them over. I am not sure why some take advantage of others, but it's a weak trait. Explain.
I was probably going through something when I
You
said that.
clearly.
I told you get deep. You get deep.
I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to relax.
Yeah.
It's just, when I think about different situations, especially these stories that I hear in Hollywood of up and coming actors and the things that people have to go through just to try to get into the door, it just makes me hope. I really hope that I was accurate in saying that too. Just trying to have that good karma, and I don't think that you need to take advantage of others to get to a better place.
That's true. I agree
Well,
with that.
you know what? We're going to
like
have you
fighting over
come back
blessings.
and we're going to see if you done effed anybody over in a few years. When we see him with the star and the Walk
Listen,
of Fame.
if y'all
I'm
hear
like,
anything, it is not true. I
saying.
swear.
Did it.
I'm going to be like, remember that tweet? Remember that tweet. Well, thank you so much, Zakiya. So let's go on to some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Zakiya, I'll start with you.
Okay, so let's see. JG and him thinking he's a man. he was good this episode. I fear for him. Oh, and it was so cute. So I think we're gonna see more of David's girlfriend because we saw her dancing.
I love her. She's beautiful, and she's actually, her name is Teshi Thomas, and she's actually a trained dancer and amazing. So it was great seeing her.
She's beautiful.
It was amazing. Love her. So I love that we're definitely going to see her again. Okay. And I'm interested to know JG's story, I guess.
But how old is he? 9?
9.
I'm saying.
I don't know.
He just stopped drinking Similac yesterday.
Josh, what are your predictions?
Well, before I get to the prediction, I want to shout out a few people in the chat. Zakiya B said this was probably her favorite episode because it showed how Gloria could how JG could step up and help Gloria, and Gloria was in between making hard decisions. So good job, Mr. Jimel Atkins. But my prediction right now, I think that Day is going to have an issue with Rainin. And for some reason, I think Shinobi is going to be that thin line of what's the word I'm looking for? Wisdom, I guess you can say. He seems to be lurking in the shadows, and he seems to have a high level of concern for David. So I'm watching Shinobi more. As far as Gloria, I don't think Gloria is completely immersed back into her old life, but I think this is a one-off that may trigger other things happening.
Okay. I think maybe with Gloria, maybe this incident will trigger some positive things. Maybe she'll work harder, maybe make some changes so she doesn't have to go through this again. We also saw Sky in this episode briefly, but he was like fading away. So is Sky gone forever? That's I don't know. Will Sky be back? I like Sky and I want to see him again, but is he fading away out of David's life as he gets older? I like what you said about Shinobi, who's played by Jordan Bolger. He's lurking in the shadows, but I do think he's wise, and he's also handsome, so that doesn't hurt. So.
Oh Lord!
So thank you so much, Jimel, for being here with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Where can people find you on social media?
Just Jimel Atkins, JimelAtkins, all the way through, and I'm available.
Perfect. On Instagram and Twitter. Zakiya, where can they find you?
Hey, you guys can find me on Instagram at ZakiyaW_.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I am your boy Joshua Wright. You can find me all things social media, Cleverly Clad, and I will be starting The Masked Singer next Wednesday at 7 p.m.
And I am Sahai Wilson. You can find me at Say Hi Sahai. That's SayHiTSAHai. Thank you so much, Jimel. Wishing you the best on the show. Guys, stick with us. We'll be back next week for the David Makes Man Aftershow. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.